I just realized that Vince's profile picture is him holding a bastard sword.
Yes, it is.
Oh, it sure is. What's up, y'all? My name is Patrick Ryan, and I'm joined by my co-host Jimmy Bones and Vince Chapman.
What up?
And welcome to the second episode of Join the Rivalry. Got last week's episode up, so if you missed that, it should be up on the Podbean thing, which that's how you're listening to this, so I suppose I don't need to tell you where that is. But you can go to if you're listening to it on Podbean and you want to listen to it on something else like Pocket Cast, or we're not on iTunes or Google Play yet because we got to have a buildup of episodes before they'll let us on there. But if you have some other podcast listening platform, I think even if you've still got a Zune, if you're one of those people, you can get it there on the Podbean page, which is jointherivalry.podbean.com. You can get the RSS feed. Just plug that RSS feed into your podcast app, and it will download new episodes for you automatically. So you should get the first one, and now this one. So, anyway, I know it's only been a few days since we recorded, since we got a late start last week, but in between now and then, have any of you caught any good Pokemon or got any good Pokemon Go stories for us?
Well, remember how last time I was talking about the restaurant in town that is right between the three Pokestops?
Yes.
I took my wife and I took my brother and his wife down there to eat for her birthday, and turned into basically them just playing Pokemon for an hour and a half while I sat there not really enjoying dinner. Followed by the next night, my mother and father taking them out to P.F. Chang's, and same story. They ended up playing Pokemon for a couple hours. So
yeah,
that's one of the warnings. Don't let it consume your life when your family's trying to take you out to dinner.
absolutely. I've been a few places where the restaurant has a Pokestop in it, and I'll have my phone out and the app open, but unless I'm just hitting the Pokestop to replenish stuff, the phone is upside down so that I'm not, because I know that if it's facing up and the screen's on, it'll be distracting not just to me but to everybody else at the table, and then if I notice something pops up, I'll want to stop the conversation and start catching things, and I don't want that. I'm sure that maybe a couple of the people I was with thought it was a little rude of me to be checking into the Pokestop, but I didn't feel like it was that big of a deal because it's not like it was taking, my attention away from them. It's just a simple pick the phone up, tap, swipe a couple times, tap again, put the phone back down. But that's true. If you're out with your family, especially if you're on a date, folks, don't play unless the date, like the purpose of the date is to go Pokemon hunting. Don't play Pokemon Go or be on Facebook or texting people. It's just rude, and you're not gonna get any lady friends staring at your phone all night. So, absolutely. How about you, Vince?
Not much going on since we recorded last. Haven't caught any new Pokemon. Just like I was saying earlier, I was trying to stock up on Weedles so I can get my Beedrill. I've got a Kakuna ready to evolve up, and I need one Weedle. I am at 47 candies, so one Weedle get me my Beedrill. So I'll be happy with that.
That would do it. I twice since we recorded last found myself in a situation where I could evolve something, but only if I transferred every single one of that thing that I had. And it was like, well, but then I don't have it to evolve. And so, trying to decide, well, do I do I transfer all this stuff because it's low level now, and then just wait till I catch a new one, and then I'll have enough candies or whatever. I wish there was, like, especially if you've got a really high CP Pokemon. Say, like, I've got a few Slowpokes that I caught that were in the 300s and 400s. If I transfer something that high, I feel like I should get more than one candy out of it. You know, not a lot, but maybe 2 or 3. It would make that decision to transfer them a little less painful.
Well, one thing I've noticed is that, you know, you've got the little star or heart system to favorite your Pokemon, but they need to put a little lock on there so you can't accidentally trade away or accidentally evolve it. My brother was complaining about how he accidentally evolved one of his Bulbasaurs into Ivysaur because of his pocket. So I haven't had that problem, but I did finally evolve an Eevee into a Jolteon, and that was nice. I still haven't found a Bulbasaur, but I did catch an Ivysaur.
Nice.
Very nice.
I haven't tested it myself, but I read that with the new update, which we'll talk about more here in a little bit, one of the features they added was if you favorite a Pokemon, it will not let you transfer it. Now, I'd probably still let you evolve it.
Yeah, no, that's true. I accidentally hit the transfer button on a Pokemon I had favorited, and it told me I couldn't do that because it was a favorite.
Okay. Yeah. And that is a feature that is apparently on the client side of the app and not on the server, because people who did not update the application were reporting that they could still transfer favorited Pokemon. So if you got the new update that came out yesterday or Saturday night, it was a couple days ago, I guess it was Saturday, yeah. Then that's a feature that's in there now, is if you favorite a Pokemon, you cannot transfer it, so that way you won't accidentally transfer it. But as far as I know, you can probably still evolve it. I guess you were saying that your friend said he evolved something while it was in his pocket, and that was why it was an accident. It's not like he didn't want to evolve it, right?
He actually did not want to evolve it.
Oh, he didn't. Okay. He must have had another Bulbasaur that he wanted to evolve, or was it a Bulbasaur he said he evolved?
Yeah, I think it was. He just wanted to finish raising his stats first.
Right. Well, I've been saving up Stardust because I've got a few Pokemon that are pretty powerful, but not powerful enough that they're really able to take care of themselves when I leave them in gyms. So I've really just been kind of indiscriminately catching any Pokemon that I come across because I'm focused on building up my Stardust. And so, any Pidgey that I've find Rattata. I did go down to the beach to do some catching because I heard that the list of Pokemon that's available at the water's quite different from right immediately in my neighborhood. And it turns out that is the case. And I discovered that on the beach, Poliwag is the Pidgey of the beach. So there's just Poliwags everywhere, like there are Pidgeys. So I was able to catch a bunch of those. I got into a battle with a slow bro, but he ran away before I could get him. And then there was something else. I think a Voltorb. I haven't caught a Voltorb yet, but I was in a battle with one and he got away too. So that was... It was still fun, though. I went out with my wife, her sister, and my son, and we just walked up and down the boardwalk for a while, hitting Pokestops, catching Pokemon. And then we stopped at a place, got a little bite to eat, and went home. So, got us out of the house. And my son is quite the video game fanatic, so I'm sure had we not gone and caught Pokemon, he would have wanted to just sit at the house and play Halo a day. And it was so pretty outside. So I'm glad we were able to get us out of the house. To my parents who said that video games would never get me out of the house, you're wrong. Pokemon Go is doing that.
We win.
Yes. So, well, we can move on to talking a little bit more about this update that just came out. So if you haven't updated the app, and most people I know, or I'm constantly in the Google Play Store, like, okay, what needs to be updated? It's kind of something I do every single day. So when an update hits the store, I get it pretty much right away. But I know there are a lot of people out there that they're not in the habit of doing that. And if you don't have your Android phone or your iPhone set to automatically update things, you might not have this new Pokemon update. So go to your App Store on whichever platform you're using and get it updated, because there's a couple cool things that they've done. One of them is you can now customize your avatar even after the initial setup, and that was something that you couldn't do before. And there's now blue as a color option, which I guess I didn't really notice that there wasn't blue in it before, but it was really just, purple, orange, yellow, and a red color. And so if you were on Team Valor or Team Instinct and you wanted to wear red or yellow, you could. But Team Mystic players didn't have a blue, and now you do. And you can go in and change your backpack and your shirt and your hat and all that stuff. I'm kind of suspecting that this means they're going to eventually sell you things to customize your avatar, and I'm not normally one to pay money for things like that. Like on the Xbox 360 and on the Xbox One, you've got a avatar, and you could actually buy clothes for it with real money, and I'm just like, why would I spend $2 on a fake t-shirt? It doesn't appeal to me, but I know there are a lot of people out there it does appeal to, and a lot of places, a lot of companies make a lot of money selling virtual goods like that, because a lot of people care a whole lot about what the virtual representation of themselves looks like. So, I mean, if they added that, is that something that either one of the two of you would use?
Unlikely, not until it becomes something that's actually matters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I agree. I definitely probably wouldn't use it. I don't really care about what my avatar looks like. I mean, I did go in, and initially I was wearing, when I initially downloaded the game, I was wearing yellow. Mm-hmm. Why I chose yellow, I'm not sure. I think I was excited, and I wanted to get in and catch some Pokemon. So this whole time I've been, wanting to change the colors of my hoodie and whatnot. And so I went in and I changed everything to red because, repping Team Valor. Right. But as far as, what I look like in the game, it doesn't really matter to me. What matters to me is what Pokemon I have, how good I guess I am at the game.
Yeah.
So
that's how I feel. I think if the options became diverse enough that it would be feasible that I don't just look like a clone of everybody else, that maybe I would care. But until that happens, if it remains to be just you're a guy or you're a girl, and here's the way the two look, and you can dress yourself differently, yeah, I don't see why I care. I would be way more interested in being able to customize my face and other things about my character's body than really what he's wearing. I just don't give a rip. But I could see Niantic and the Pokemon Company making a whole lot of money off of that if that's something they choose to add. Okay, the bigger thing that they changed, and it's got people upset, and I'm not entirely sure why, because it's not like it worked in the first place, but they've removed the footprints from the Pokemon tracker. And if you were...
Originally.
What's that?
It did originally.
Yeah, it did work the first week that it was up. It worked, and it worked very well. I was able to find pretty much whatever it was I was looking for, as long as I got to it in time. And then it went to where, so if you don't know what we're talking about, if you tap that little grid down at the bottom right corner while you're on the main game screen, and it pulls up that grid, and you've got up to 9 Pokemon in it, and whatever's closest to the bottom right slot is the Pokemon that is farthest away from you. and whatever's in the top left spot is the Pokemon that is closest to you. Now, that doesn't actually tell you how close or far away the Pokemon is. It just tells you that of the Pokemon that are in this grid, this is the one that is closest to you. And then there were footprints underneath each Pokemon. 3 footprints meant that it was farthest away in the measurement. I've heard some people say that 1 footprint was 50 meters. I've heard other people say that it's 50 feet, which it seems like meters would be more likely since every other measurement of distance in the game is done with meters and kilometers and things like that. But either way, you could then start walking, and when the footprints numbers decreased, then you knew, okay, I'm getting closer to it. And so it would go down to 2 footprints and then 1 footprint. And then when you were pretty much on top of it, it would go down to 0 footprints. And so 0 footprints was a good thing. And after about a week of this, for whatever reason, this feature stopped working. And Niantic hasn't, to my knowledge, they haven't really acknowledged it. They're not, the company doesn't seem very transparent about things that they're doing or things that they're working on. And so to kind of make up for this, there's a few websites that popped up. The one that I like to use was Pokevision.com, but I know there's a few others. I think PokeRadar is one. But they were taking the information from the server about where a Pokemon was going to spawn or where a Pokemon had spawned, and some of them, like Pokevision, could even tell you how much longer that Pokemon was going to be there. So you could say, like, oh, there's a Squirtle, and it's around the corner, and it's going to be there for 10 minutes. Well, that's worth me going and getting. But maybe there's a Charmander on the next street, but it's only going to be there for another minute and a half, and then that way you don't waste your time walking down there. And I really only started using these services when the footprint tracker stopped working. Because when the footprint tracker stopped working, the best you could do was, I know that the Pokemon I'm looking for is closer to me than any of the other 8 Pokemon on the grid. But that doesn't really tell you how close you are or where it is. And it made it pretty much impossible to accurately track the Pokemon you're looking for. So Pokevision would tell you, hey, here it is. And so my wife and I would use it, and we'd go out there and find it. And it was, Pokevision anyway, was accurate. I mean, it was exactly where it said it was going to be, and the timer was right and everything. Well, this update that they did made it so that all of those things don't work anymore. They've blocked out Pokevision and PokeRadar and all these websites from their server. And to be fair, these things do break the Pokemon Go app terms of service, your user agreement and all that stuff. So I'm not saying that they're not well within their right to do this. It's their app. If they want to, they can. But since their tracking thing, they haven't fixed the tracking thing. And in fact, if any, well, I guess I can't say they've made it worse by removing the footprints, because it's not like anything's really changed. But they removed the footprints completely. The grid still works. You can still determine which Pokemon you're closest to, but the footprints, they're not there anymore. And again, they weren't working, so it's like, why does it matter if they're there or not? But Niantic hasn't really said whether or not they're bringing it back. They haven't said if they're trying to fix it or if they're working on something new. And I've been reading a lot on Twitter and Facebook and some blogs and stuff that people are frustrated about this. Mm-hmm. And I understand that. It makes it so now finding a Pokemon is more of a, I happen to get lucky and this thing popped up in front of me. And which, I mean, that's almost, well, no, I was about to say that's almost like it is in the game, but it's not really, because you could determine in the game, okay, I know these Pokemon are in this area, so as long as I'm walking in the tall grass, I'll eventually find one. And now you don't get that luxury in Pokemon Go anymore. The only thing I know I'm guaranteed to find are Pidgeys and Rattatas. Just for miles. So, Jimmy, you were saying Pokevision never worked for you? Like, did it ever work for you, or?
No, I mean, I didn't try to use it very often. I'm not, like I said last time, I'm a filthy casual, so it didn't really matter that much to me. But, I put the little marker in my neighborhood or where I'm sitting, and I press the refresh button, and it might have something pop up 5 miles away when the little tab has 9 different things, and even though half of them are Pidgeys pop up, but,
Right.
It is what it is. Doesn't matter that much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever use anything like that, Vince?
I didn't use Pokevision. What I was using, and I don't know that it still works or not, is an app called Poke Detector, and you would go into this app and enable it, and then you could close the app out, and it would continue to run, and then it would send a push notification to your phone, letting you know. I guess it's very similar to Pokevision. I've seen a few people say that it still works after the update. I have not did it as of yet because I'm out of Pokeballs. I got one left, so I would hate to turn it on, have a Snorlax pop up, and then have nothing to catch it with. But that's what I was using.
Yeah,
but I assume, I suspect that there is most likely, hopefully, maybe something better coming in Pokemon Go that to help track Pokemon better than just the 9 Pokemon grid.
Right.
I would assume.
Yeah, because I don't know why they would have had any kind of feature like that in there at all, and then taken it away. Now, I don't know why it quit working. I'm not sure if maybe it was causing some other issue, and so they disabled it, thinking they'd be able to fix it. Because when it was there, it worked, and it worked great. I could walk one direction, and okay, now the Pokemon that I'm looking for is got 2 steps instead of 3 steps. And then, if you keep walking and it goes back up to 3, well, okay, I'm going to walk back to where it was 2, and then I'm going to head left or right and, see how it goes. And it worked. It worked great. And so I don't know why they'd have something in there that did work and then take it away just for the heck of it. Obviously something was wrong, or it was causing a problem with something else. So I trust that they didn't just do this because they felt like it. They're doing it for a reason.
Well, there is a conspiracy theorist view of things, which is that what they're going to do here in the very near future is add an item, like a Poke Radar, like you might find in the game, that you have to purchase, that turns on for a limited amount of time and tells you how far away things are.
That would be super lame.
It would be lame.
Not even gonna lie, that would be, but that could be, and of course, like I said earlier, it's their game. If that's what they want to do, they can do it. I would think they would alienate a lot of people. Now, if they did that, I wouldn't quit playing it. I would just continue to, I'm going to play the stumble through the grass until I find something game, because I'm enjoying it. Yeah. So, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what they do. Like I said, all this just happened in the last few days, and Niantic hasn't been very forthcoming about any of this. Someone at the company, probably like the president or something, was interviewed during San Diego Comic-Con, and he made mention that he thought that stuff like Pokevision was cheating. And I agree with him, but if the tracker was working, I probably wouldn't have been using it. So right. It's like, at the time, it's like, well, is it cheating? Sure, but I'm using it because you haven't provided me with a way to do this that, quote, isn't cheating. And you know what? If you if you want to do that and it makes the game more fun for you, I don't see the problem with it. It's just it's not a big deal. But he didn't. This interview that I read, he didn't seem like he was real thrilled about it. Now, interestingly, in the same interview, they brought up how people are getting around having to walk to hatch their eggs. And they mentioned like one guy had a video of his phone was on a turntable and he just had the turntable spinning, and that's how he was hatching his eggs, was doing that.
Yeah, but then you have the idiots who put their phones in the microwave trying the same thing.
Right. My favorite one was a guy had an electric train set, and he attached his phone to the or he put it in one of the cars behind the train, and so as the train went in circles around his room, it would hatch the eggs for him. That I thought, I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. Now I try to go for a good little 4 to 6 mile walk every morning. I'm not great about doing it every day because some days I wake up and I'm like, I'm too tired, I'm not doing this. So, but when I do, as long as I've got enough incubators, I can hatch a few eggs while I'm out, especially if I'm concentrating on the 2 kilometer eggs. Yeah. But usually I try to use my infinite incubator, the one that you get when you start the game. I try and use it with the lower ones, so the 2 kilometers, maybe the 5 kilometers, and save the ones that break that you get through either Pokestops or purchasing them with coins. I save the 10 kilometer ones for those because then I feel like I get more out of the uses.
Yeah, it's the same thing I do.
Yeah, me too.
I know it's because at some speed it stops tracking your movement so that you're not hatching eggs while you're driving.
Yeah, it's 15 miles an hour.
15 miles an hour, okay.
I know I sat in traffic on 24 driving in Chattanooga for a couple hours and had the app open just to see if my inching forward would do anything. I got, over that period of time, I think I got 0.6 kilometers towards my 10-mile leg.
Yeah. I've had that happen a few times when I drive through downtown. Of course, I'm usually driving slow anyway, driving through downtown, because I'm hitting, a red light every, couple 100 feet. But I'm hitting Pokestops, and usually when I go through there, I get credit towards my egg hatching. But yeah, if I'm on the highway or the interstate and I'm, doing 50 to 70 miles an hour, it's not. I mean, even though I've got the phone open sitting in the car seat next to me, it's not tracking anything. And, the fitness app that I have on my phone, Google Fit, it tracks your walking and your running and your stuff automatically. Like if you've got Runkeeper or the Nike app or something, you have to go into the app and go, okay, I'm going for a walk, and start it. And then you go for your walk and it tracks your movement, and then you stop it. The Google Fit, it's just, hey, you're going this fast, so you must be walking, or you're going this fast, so you're probably running. And it'll also do if you're on a bike ride. And then, of course, it's supposed to know whether or not you're in a car, because if you're going fast enough, obviously, you're in a vehicle. But I have sometimes at the end of the day, I'll open it up, and it'll go, you ran 20 miles. And it's just because I was driving really slow. And I'm like, no, I am not anywhere near enough in shape to have run 20 miles.
The Apple Activity app seems to think that I'm always doing something when I'm in my truck. It's always reminding me to stand up. Hey, it's time to stand up. And then I'll shift around in my seat a little bit. Hey, good job. You met your daily fitness goal of standing up for an hour. Well, I'm sitting 8 feet above the ground. Maybe I am standing up. Thanks.
Right. That's pretty funny. So, I've never had an app tell me to stand up. I guess like if you work in an office, then it'll be like, hey, get up and get your blood circulating a little bit. But obviously, driving a truck, you don't have that luxury. At least not so much anyway.
No, and it's even it's well advised to wear those supporting diabetic socks. I don't have any; they're too expensive.
What are those? I don't know. I've heard of these.
They're meant to keep blood flowing through your legs and keeping it from pooling in your ankles and whatnot.
Huh. Do they do that by like being tight or something? Or
Oh, they're called compression socks, I believe.
okay,
You're asking the wrong guy. I'm too cheap to actually buy any.
right. I know in like, of course that's because of air pressure, but I know pilots wear stuff that, when they reach certain altitudes, their suit like fills up with air or something to keep the blood from rushing away from their head down to their ankles. I'm sure it's nothing like that. It was just for whatever reason it made me think of it.
Same concept. It's all about managing where your blood goes.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, have you guys had any luck with capturing gems lately? I had a gem that we took over. It was my wife and I, and I've got the login information for my sister. So anytime I'm at a gym, if there's enough space to throw a Pokemon of hers in, I'll go ahead and log out of mine, log into hers. And now, if you want to talk about cheating, that's probably cheating. but I go ahead and do that anyway. And we had this post office, and it's in a pretty heavily trafficked area of town. So I figured, it'll be there for a couple hours and then it'll be gone. And it was 2.5 days later before my Venusaur wound up back in my inventory. And actually, this morning when we checked, the Pokemon that my wife had in it was still there. So even though my Pokemon got kicked out from having been defeated and the gym prestige being lowered too much, our team still has it. And so actually I'm going to be out that way later today. I'm thinking about stopping by and training it back up and getting my Venusaur back in there. But that was pretty cool. That's the longest I've ever had a Pokemon stay in a gym before it got kicked out.
Mm-hmm.
No, now that I've evolved my Jolteon, it's the strongest one I had. But beyond that, my Pidgeot is still the strongest one I've got, and it's useless in gym situations, really.
Yeah.
There's a gym here at our post office as well, and I was driving by, headed out to get some dinner for the wife and I, and I saw I obviously, shouldn't have, but I had it up. I had the app up while I was driving down this road, and I noticed there was thunder and lightning, these tornadoes. Obviously, the gym was under attack, so I pulled in, and there was a guy. I pulled in next to the guy that was in his car, and come to find out, he was on Team Valor as well, which was really cool. So I got to hook up with somebody from Team Valor, and we lowered neither one of us had the Pokemon strong enough to defeat the 1500 CP Snorlax that they had set on top of it, but we lowered the prestige quite a bit.
Right. We did run across I want to say it was a Team Valor gym, and it was a level 7 or 8, and at least 2 of the Pokemon that were in it were right around 2000 CP. And I was just like, this is just not even worth it. I don't have... If I had like a group of people with me and we were all on the same team, that might have been worth doing, I think. But with it just being me and my wife, I was like, this would turn into us sitting here pretty much all night. Because you got to fight it, and then when your Pokemon loses, you got to revive him, or not revive. Yeah, you got to revive him if you lose the gym fight, if you're battling an enemy gym, but you don't if you're training your own. But then you got to use potions and stuff, and we both were running low on potions, so it would have been this whole fight the gym, go to a Pokestop, get some potions, fight the gym, over and over and over again, and it just wasn't worth it. But I'm hoping, because most of the people in my family we're all on Team Instinct, so I'm hoping sometime here, maybe we can go like downtown where there's several gyms and just like do a nice little sweep of it and collect the coins. Because I did decide that when I get up to enough coins to buy the backpack expansion, that I'm going to go ahead and do that. But if I can help it, I'm going to try my best to do it without spending any actual money on it.
Good luck with that.
Yeah. We shall see. What I'm afraid is going to happen is I'll buy the backpack, and then I'll find out, oh, well, if I spend another $2, then I can get an even bigger backpack, and then I'll be tempted to do that. And because I did the other day, I got to a point where I had my limit of Pokemon, and that's only happened once. Because I'm usually pretty good about going in there and, oh, I've got all these low-level Pidgeys, so I'm going to go ahead and transfer them because I don't need them. And just we were out, and I hadn't thought about it in a few days, and I tap on a Magikarp to go into the fight, and it tells me, oh, your Pokemon inventory is full, so you can't go into this fight. And I was like, what? So I had to go transfer some Pokemon to Professor... what's his name in this? Willow, yes. So, fortunately, that was real easy to do. I just went in and I found the lowest level Pidgey that I had and just went ahead and transferred him and then got the Magikarp and then went back in there and transferred a few other Pokemon so that I would have room to catch other things. But I'm hoping that I don't... I mean, especially since in the current form of the game, it's just the first 151 Pokemon, and even then, only 145 of them are known to be out in the wild. The legendaries, and I believe Ditto, no one's reported, seeing them anywhere. So, yeah, I don't see a reason to upgrade to needing to have more than the 250 Pokemon that I can have right now. But once Gen 2 Pokemon get added, and then Gen 3, and you get to where now there's more than 250, then maybe I'll drop the money on upgrading with Pokemon storage. But right now, it's items is the only thing that I'm interested in dropping any coin for. Yeah. Well, while I'm thinking about it, how full is everyone's Pokedex?
Not.
Anybody know? I'm actually opening my game right now so I can find out, but I'm pretty sure I'm in the 70s for having caught. Yay, dead air for me to cut out later. Let's see. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Okay, so in my Pokédex, I have caught 70, and I've seen 75. And the 5 that I've seen and have not caught are Abra, Geodude, Slowbro, Voltorb, and... what's he called? Rhyhorn or Rhydon? Are those both something that are in this game?
Yeah, Rhyhorn is Rhydon is the evolution of Rhyhorn.
Okay, I'm pretty sure that this is Rhyhorn. See, if I'd been paying attention. If I didn't pay attention during Who's That Pokemon, I would know this.
Rhyhorn is a four-legged. He walks on all four legs, where Rhydon stands on 2 legs.
Okay, well, this thing is on all 4, so it must be. Yeah, Rhyhorn. So, have any big ones gotten away from you guys? Slowbro's the only one that I've lost that, like, I was a little bit peeved about.
Biggest one that got away from me was a Golduck. I'm looking.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, a Golduck popped up one morning. Wasted about 15 balls on him, and then he ran away.
Oh my word, that's the worst.
Yes.
Because at least with the Slowbro, I got in there. I threw a raspberry at him, and then I threw one great ball at him, and he got out of the great ball, and then he ran. So it wasn't like I wasted a bunch of items on him. It was one and done. But I have had. Oh, there was one day. I got into a battle with a Pidgey, and it was just I'm looking for Stardust, and he was like a 300 and something, and I went, whatever, he'll be easy to catch. So I threw a raspberry at him, and I threw a Pokeball, and it got to where he had broken out of something like 10 Pokeballs and a couple Great Balls, and my wife leans over and she goes, "You don't need the Pidgey, you just want the Stardust. Why don't you just leave?" And I'm like, "No, it's personal now. Like, I'm going to catch this thing if it's the last thing that I do." And then he ran away. So I think by the time I was done, I had thrown, probably grand total 15 Pokeballs. Between Pokeballs and Great Balls, I had thrown 15 at him and used a few raspberries, and I didn't even catch him. Like, you got to be kidding me.
Word.
So, oh, hey, here's I have not seen a Hitmonchan or a Hitmonlee in the wild, but I have hatched two. I want to say I've hatched two Hitmonchans. And either of y'all come across? Because in the Game Boy games, you had to go to the dojo and like trade for them, or I think Karate Guy would give you one of them. But then if when you took the one, you couldn't get the other.
Nope.
Y'all,
I have not seen one. I have seen people getting them, but I have asked where they got them at, general area, and no answers, nothing, no idea. So just kind of waiting on a random pop.
Off topic, I guess. You were talking about how you hatched one or two. It kind of disturbs me how even the mammals lay eggs.
Right.
Yes.
Yep, all Pokemon lay eggs, regardless of whether or not they're mammal or not mammal. I wonder if they're going to introduce breeding into the game later, because it seems like if I go to a Pokestop and I have a egg slot open, I generally get an egg from them. I don't find that they're too difficult to come across, but then of course you never really know what you're going to get, and then it does seem like the 2 kilometer ones are your more common Pokemon. So I've gotten a Rattata and a Pidgey and stuff like that, and then the 5 kilometer ones I've gotten a Squirtle or two, but the 10 kilometer ones are where I get my really good ones.
Yeah, you say that, but my brother's got the 10K one, and he ended up getting just an Eevee out of it.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Eevees are... they're not everywhere around here, but they're pretty common.
Yeah, I come across them really, really often as well.
Right. So when I first started evolving Eevees, I just kept getting Vaporeons, which was frustrating. And then I did that trick where you name them one of the Eevee brothers, and so I went ahead and I got a Jolteon and I got a Flareon. But I haven't evolved an Eevee since then, just because the Jolteon and Flareon and Vaporeon that I have are pretty high level, and I like the moveset that they have, so I haven't, even though I've got a bunch of Eevees and a bunch of Eevee candy, I just haven't had a desire or a need to evolve any of them. So,
yeah.
Do either of y'all have anything that you want to add?
No, today was kind of a rush job for me, so I'm not really very loquacious today.
Yeah, and I feel like, especially since we recorded, about half a week ago, just not much has gone on. But with there being a week in between recordings from here on out, I think we'll have more to talk about and be a little bit better prepared. I think the first episode went really well, actually. I just finished, I try and listen to them after they go live, because listening to it while you're being critical of it and chopping it up and stuff it's not the same. So I listened to it actually just yesterday after downloading it to my podcast app, and I was pleasantly surprised at how entertaining it was. So
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I enjoyed it, but I also was talking a bit more.
right.
Quick question:
hmm
what was the times?
Oh, I didn't do that. I meant to.
Supposed to be homework for Patrick. Come on.
I'll get on that next time. I think I definitely dominated the conversation this time around, but I do want to go back to the first episode and time it, because I'm curious. And Vince, you've done a much better job talking today.
I appreciate
Thank you
it.
for that.
Yeah.
Well, that has to do with the fact that I'm still not awake yet.
Right. So, well, we have been going for about 45 minutes, and I think that will do it for us today. So, thanks for listening at home. If you've got questions or comments, you can find me on Twitter at Patrick Proper. You should also go check out my other podcast, ogcast.podbean.com. It's a retro gaming podcast. The newest episode, we talked about Kirby's Dream Land for the Game Boy, and that was a lot of fun. And the episode before that, we did Shadow of the Colossus for PlayStation 2. And we have also we do a whole bunch of
about that. Is that any good, really?
What's that?
Colossus. I've been
I love
for
it.
ages.
That was amazing.
It's one of my favorite games. It's especially if you stop considering your big games like Mario and Zelda and stuff. I would put Shadow of the Colossus in my top 10 or games that I've played. So it's really fantastic. If you've got a PlayStation 3, play the HD version. It's much easier on the eyes than the PS2 version is, especially on a big HD TV. So check that out. Also, you can find my esports league at crossforgegaming.com, and then I got a website at patrickallenryan.com. Vince, where can we find you on the internet?
You can find me Twitter at Chapman_Vince, and then you can find me on Facebook. Follow me at facebook.com/Vince Chapman Writes.
Sweet. And you can find Jimmy on this show.
I'm boring.
So, anyway, what's that?
Oh, your team Mystics, so what else do we expect?
Sure, yeah.
Shots fired. I'm coming for you, brother.
All right, well, thanks for listening, everybody. Tune in next week, and I promise we'll all be more awake and more prepared and much more talkative than we were this week. So have a good one, and we'll see you later.